only a land of milk and honey, whose orchards and vineyards are renowned through more than 4,000 years of history, but today and tomorrow, a land burgeoning with industry. In 10 short years, more than 1 million men, women, and children have struck new roots in Israel. Modest workshops have become modern factories. Every conceivable type of light and heavy industry required by a modern nation has been established and is functioning efficiently under the trained eyes of experienced engineers and technicians. This is the new Israel, a land in which 1 out of every 4 wage earners is employed in industry. And the builders of Israel's industry are Israel's engineers, experts with a blueprint, the product of years of training and experience, most of them graduates of Technion, the Israel Institute of Technology. And these are some of the tens of thousands of men employed in industrial plants stretching from Metula in the north to Eilat in the south. In 1 decade, Israel has increased the export of her industrial products to all parts of the world by 1,000%. It is through the port of Haifa, Israel's Chicago and Detroit rolled into one, that Israeli products flow to every corner of the globe. But there is also an aura of tranquility that every visitor senses almost as soon as he sets foot in this beautiful Mediterranean city. Deep in the heart of Haifa and in the hearts of its people is this 40-year-old building, the first site of Technion, built for 300 and struggling to cope with an enrollment of 3,000. And here on 300 acres of land on Mount Carmel is the new site of the Technion, a campus only half completed. It is on this historic site where Elijah the prophet preached against the false teachings of Baal that the Technion is teaching the scientific truths of today. The new buildings, made possible through the generosity of friends of Technion throughout the world, are functional in design, and yet the Technion campus is described as one of the world's most beautiful. And here are some of the 3,000 students of the Technion who pursue an engineering education. They study physics, chemistry, chemical engineering, hydraulic engineering, agricultural engineering. When they are graduated, they are full-fledged engineers, architects, town planners. Constructed by Technion's friends in the United States, this building, equipped with modern facilities for the training of electrical engineers, now stands firmly rooted on the slopes of Mount Carmel. More than 400 future electrical engineers pursue their studies here. Close by stands the physics building, which bears the name of Albert Einstein, who throughout his lifetime took a warm interest in the development of the Technion. Half of the students were born in Israel. The other half arrived from DP camps from ghettos in North Africa and Asia, and more recently by rail from Eastern Europe to Naples, and then to Israel, and to Technion in quest of a scientific education. One day, perhaps, one of these young men may follow in the path of the genius, of Einstein. Never in history did any country experience the mass immigration that has engulfed Israel, bringing with it a desperate need for homes and more homes. At first, any building would do, for the urgent crying need was shelter. But today, the new homes strive for that one note of beauty that changes a building into a home. And the men who add that note of beauty are the architects and town planners, graduates of the Technion, who are applying their knowledge to fill Israel's horizon with industrial plants, homes, schools, hospitals. This is the motif of Israel, to build, and in building to be rebuilt. Where the pioneers of an early America cleared the virgin forests, the builders of Israel today are mixing modern technology with ancient soil to cement a new nation. Just as there is no other country in the world quite like Israel, so are there no other teachers in the world quite like those on the Technion faculty. Some of the professors were distinguished scientists in pre-Hitler Europe. Then when the Nazis gained power, these outstanding scientific figures found a new home and a new life in the lecture halls of the Technion. Some professors are known as Anglo-Saxonim, erstwhile Americans, Canadians, and West Europeans who have given up comfortable positions to come to Israel. And some, only 20 months ago, were teaching in a university town in Eastern Europe. They seized the opportunity to start all over again in Israel when the Iron Curtain parted long enough. These are some of their students, eager to learn and anxious to take their parts in the industrial development of Israel. An equally eager student is the Army officer, brushing up on the latest technological advances. To service her own planes and those of neighboring friendly countries, Israel has established an up-to-date aircraft maintenance plant that is typical of many of the country's new industries, built to meet the problems of today and to anticipate the needs of tomorrow. Technion's graduates are as essential to Israel's defense as they are to her industrial expansion, for a modern army is run by engineers and technicians. Israel's annual Independence Day parade is the Army's first Chief of Staff, General Yaakov Dori, now President of the Technion. Two things have kept Israel free: the determined spirit of her people and the high degree of technical proficiency that characterizes every branch of her armed forces. Technion's sloping campus is the Aeronautical Engineering Laboratory, equipped with the finest instruments and facilities in the Middle East. It was here that one of Technion's faculty members aroused worldwide interest when he developed a revolutionary centripetal pump working on a grant of the United States Air Force. The research and experimentation work that goes on in the laboratories and workshops of the Technion are as important to Israel as the principal task of training new engineers. For where else but to the Technion can Israel's fledgling industries turn with their engineering problems? Lacking in conventional fuels, Israel is banking heavily on the development of atomic energy. With support of the United States, this atomic reactor is now nearing completion in central Israel and will be in operation soon. At the Technion, the men who will operate the reactor and future nuclear installations receive their training from outstanding scientists, many of them from the United States. This is fertilizers and chemicals, Israel's largest single industrial undertaking, which is converting the chemical wealth found in Israel. Employing more than 2,500 people, this plant produces sulfuric acid, ammonia, superphosphate, all needed by modern industry and agriculture. And here is another chemical plant, one in a growing chain that is beginning to dot the landscape of Israel. An indispensable component in the growth of Israel's chemical industry is to be found in the departments of chemistry and chemical engineering at the Technion. No matter where you turn, you find that the student's education is closely linked to every phase of Israel's enormous development needs. Technion's Agricultural Engineering Department, one of the finest in the world, collaborates closely with Israel's historic program to revive the Negev and turn barren fields into productive land. Occupying a prominent place in the hydraulic engineering laboratory at Technion is this scale model of the Yarkon River, used both for instruction and research, to determine the best possible methods of exploiting this principal waterway which cuts across the middle of Israel. Studying at Technion is no ivory tower nor purely theoretical affair. Students and teachers alike, concerned with agricultural and with hydraulic engineering, devise ways and means to assure Israel an abundant supply of water. While 92% of Technion students live in and around Haifa, and to their classes, a few lucky ones live in the student dormitories on the campus. But whether they live in town or in the dormitories, all the students take their meals in the American-style self-service cafeteria operated by the Technion on a non-profit basis. There is a time for eating and a time for studying. And there is a time to remember that there is only one girl student for every 10 young men at the Technion. The expanding economy of Israel needs 600 new engineers, but the still limited facilities of the Technion have been able to meet only 2/3 of this quota. It is these men and women, the new graduates of the Technion, who will transform Israel into a modern, highly industrialized, economically self-sufficient, secure state. This is the new Israel, land of industry, a country that is combining the eternal truths of the Bible with the scientific truths of today.